Welcome to this, the second of 10 debates presented by the City Club of Cleveland in this very important 2008 election cycle. I'm Jim Foster, Executive Director of the City Club. The City Club has a long and proud history of hosting debates for public office. Whether the race is perceived by the pollsters to be close or high profile, the City Club provides an opportunity for those interested in their government to learn more about the issues and the candidates. Here at the City Club, we go face-to-face, in person and in depth. And yes, you, the audience, and voters will get to ask questions. Many thanks to those of you who are here and those watching and listening to our podcasts and webcasts. 60 minutes goes by very quickly, so let's proceed. We are delighted to have as our moderator for today's debate, Geoff Mearns, Dean of the Cleveland State University Cleveland Marshall College of Law. Dean Mearns has been a partner in the Cleveland offices of two prominent law firms, Baker & Hostetler and Thompson Hine, and prior to entering private practice in 1998, Dean Mearns had a distinguished 9-year career as a prosecutor with the United States Department of Justice, including service as Assistant United States Attorney for Eastern District of New York, where he was Chief of the Organized Crime and Racketeering Section. Dean Mearns.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you all for coming here this afternoon. It's my pleasure and really my honor to be asked to serve as the moderator in this debate. This debate is very important because this election is about a very important position in our community and in our state. In my view, public prosecutors play a critical role in our criminal justice system. They must, on the one hand, be vigorous advocates in the prosecution of criminal defendants in order to advance public safety, to protect the public, to keep us safe. But public prosecutors also have a professional obligation to ensure that the constitutional rights of the accused are also protected. Under our Constitution, prosecutors should seek justice, not just convictions. So it is important that we select a prosecutor who can balance these two important fundamental values. So with that, here are the rules for the debate this afternoon, for the opening portion of the debate. Each candidate has a total of 10 minutes for both an opening statement and a rebuttal. It is the candidate's choice as to how he or she will divide the time. So we will hear from each candidate twice in this segment, in the opening statements from each, then rebuttals by each with a total time limit of 10 minutes. After opening and rebuttal, we'll move to questions from you, the audience, and then I will pose a closing question for the candidates. The two candidates here today are the current county prosecutor, Mr. Bill Mason, who was elected to this office in 2000 and re-elected again in 2004. His opponent, Ms. Annette Butler, served 24 years as a federal prosecutor here in the Northern District of Ohio. Now, we are very pleased to welcome all of you here today, and I suspect and believe that many of you are here because you support one candidate or the other. Notwithstanding that support, I've been asked by the City Club to ask you not to cheer. Okay? The cheering will detract from their presentations and will detract from the opportunity for the two candidates to engage in a discussion about these important issues. So I ask for your cooperation. Now, the order of the opening segment was determined by a drawing or a coin toss just a few minutes ago. Ms. Butler won that coin toss, and she will present first. Ms. Butler.
Thank you, Dean Mearns, Mr. Mason, and thank you all for coming. I'm Annette Butler, and I'm a past president of the City Club, and I just want to tell you that this is my 71st time standing at this podium. And it wasn't the same when I was president, because now I'm scared to death being on the hot seat. I'm going to start out by telling you who I am, because I keep hearing when you talk about political campaigns that people want to know who they're voting for. They want to know who that person is. Well, first of all, I am the mother of two grown children. They're both sitting in the audience, Kimberly and Christopher. I'm very proud of both of them, and I am a resident, longtime resident of this community. I raised my kids in Shaker Heights. I then moved to Cleveland, where I now reside, and I reside in a beautiful area around the boulevard in Cleveland Heights, East Cleveland, and Cleveland. I graduated from Cleveland Public Schools. I graduated from Old East High School, and one of my former classmates is in the audience here. I worked 3 jobs to work my way through Case Western Reserve University and then through Cleveland Marshall Law School. After college, I began to volunteer some of my time to the community by working some political campaigns, working as a community organizer for a time and trainer for the poverty programs. And then after law school, while raising my 2 children, I practiced law in a medium-sized law firm. And in that firm, I was able to do a number of transactional work in real estate matters, commercial matters, corporate matters, and then I tried a few cases as well. And that's when I got bitten by the bug and wound up, fortunately, being hired by the U.S. Attorney and served 24 wonderful years in the U.S. Attorney's Office. While at the U.S. Attorney's Office, I was primarily involved with civil matters. I handled most of the most difficult cases, the complex cases, as lead attorney in areas such as tort claims, employment litigation, employment law, employment discrimination, housing law, housing discrimination, and I even represented the IRS, and sometimes they thought I was even the bad guy when I went to trial on those cases. But they were fun, and they taught me a lot about tax liens and real estate and collection matters, and so I have a very strong background in the civil arena. I have had some experience, however, in the criminal area because when I first started with the U.S. Attorney's Office, I was able to handle forfeitures. And many of you lawyers in the office know what that is because forfeitures are when the bad guys have the fruits of their, let's say, labors confiscated by the government and taken over by the government. So I've had some quasi-criminal experience as well. I have been a consistent contributor to this community in several venues. I have served twice as president of library boards, and one Cleveland Heights and then one Shaker Heights. I've served as a trustee on that board. I've served as the vice chair and trustee of Cleveland State University. And some of our people from Cleveland State, including Dean Mearns, are here today as well. I have also, as I said earlier, served as the president of this fine club. One of the things that I can say for certain is that having served on 3 public boards, as I have, I've had an opportunity to learn how to make decisions, learn how to establish policy, and to learn how an organization should be run. So I, with all that, believe that I am not only a credible candidate for this position, but I'm also one that has had enough background experience and can do a wonderful job for this community. However, I never planned to run for office. That was never my plan when I retired from the U.S. Attorney's Office. My plan was to look around, see what was going on, and then teach if that was a possibility, and so that's what I'm doing. And loving every minute of it, by the way. And then I was approached by someone who's sitting at the head table, and no names will be mentioned, and asked if I would run for county prosecutor. And I thought it over. I talked to a lot of people. I learned that there were some things that the community wanted to see happen in that office that were not happening at the time. And so I said to that person, who shall remain unnamed, not named at the head table, Rob Frost, that I would run. And I appreciate the fact that our party is so interested in making sure that good government happens in this county. And that was his focus, and that is my focus. I said I'd run because I want to see a change. I said I'd run, and so what I'm going to do now is give you a couple of examples of some of the concerns that were raised about the current operation of the county prosecutor's office and raised by some people who have been, let's say, victims or recipients of the kind of treatment that you may get when you go there. Let me start by talking about the headlines. Yesterday's headline, as many of you know, said, "Justice blinded, race, drugs, and our legal system."